Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Muse Jester. My name is Junior. So if you happen to have the chance to see my review of the Haslab Dragonfly, I did not review the figures because I wanted to do it in a separate video. So here they are. Let's review David Crazy Legs Thomas. This is number 145. And this is G.I. Joe Ripcord. This is number 143. William Wild Bill Hardy. This is 142. And G.I. Joe Jane, Glenda Mulligan, 144. Not particularly fond of that face. So that's kind of cool that if you line them up, it does create a little bit of a scene. How does it look on the other side? Nothing. It's basically that stuff. Alright, so just so happens we're going to start with David Crazy Legs Thomas. Let me take it out of the box and let's see what's going on. Alright, so now we have him out of the box. Let's look at Crazy Legs over here. Very nice harness. It's rubbery plastic, and it definitely gives you the impression that's a multi-layered harness, because you still have this as separate. Then you have this one over here. I don't know if this would be removable. It's not meant to be removed, I don't think. It's in one piece. I assume that if you were to remove the arms, then it's much easier to do so. But one thing that impresses me, oh, it actually goes all around his thighs. One thing that impresses me is, maybe it's because of the scale, but it doesn't have a sense of bulkiness that I would usually see when it's got these multi-layered things. It feels relatively to scale to the actual figure itself. The actual figure itself, the uniform, as you can see, I believe this is a brand new uniform that we're seeing over here. This texture over here, very nice. Nice insignia over here, a little bit of color, bare plastic, a little bit of silver over here, some colors here and here and here. The face sculpt, the face looks good. It's kind of, it has a more of a generic blend. Can you guys see like a very faint shadow, 4 o'clock shadow around his lips? I think there is. So the sculpt is very generic, but there are people with generic faces, so I'm okay with that. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's talk about articulation on this guy. The usual articulation of the G.I. Joe. That much for up and down, left and right. Seems to have a connection joint here, and this one, I'm more interested in the torso movement because of all this gear that he has. Yeah, he can bend all the way up to here, but there's enough resistance, but you can bend him to that, so that's kind of good. And that much, it's kind of like, look at that range, depending in with all these restrictions. That's pretty good. And how about the legs? The legs swings up very easily. Thigh cut over there. We all know about the double jointed knees and elbows, so we don't need to look too much into that. This one looks like it's an up and down swivel on this side, and this side is also an up and down swivel. There's a boot cut here, and the ankle up and down, and a swivel, of course. For accessories, he has the backpack parachute over here. It's tightly done. Has the red over here, but that's basically it. The usual knife, the usual gun. and looks like an Uzi or whatever machine gun this is, but the cool thing is this actually bends, so that's kind of cool. And then he comes with this helmet over here. Nice detail. And then a second cap. Then it comes with these two goggles over here. They're exactly the same in the front, but different circumference wise. I'm assuming this just goes on his bare head if you want to, and then this one can go around the helmet. I suppose it's possible to put this around the head and then this one, but let me show you how tight this is. So it's very pliable, not an issue, and just squashed it in and it will go down. It looks like it's might be loose enough to have the goggles in, but the thing is it's really tight. I'm really afraid of how thin this strap is. It's eventually gonna break. I'm gonna tell you guys now, that's eventually gonna break. So if it breaks, don't get mad because you either get a really good thin strap over here the way it looks, or you're gonna get a thick strap that might last longer, but it will eventually break. Everything will. So let's see how it would look with this one on his helmet. I wonder if this thing can be put outside of the helmet, or just see, I'm already stretching it at this point too, so it's not supposed to go like that. So this kind of looks good enough, but I did kind of I can feel it stretching in the back. Once you get past this is the widest part of the helmet. Once you get past that, it sits much nicer. And the way this thing sits right here as it is, I feel like that's the way it should be done, which means this is probably on the bare head with the cap on. But it looks pretty good like that. So this one I'm assuming is for bare head. Yeah, because this is tight as it is, like that. Put the cap on. That looks really nice. The knife and the sheath. So that I like it like that. Kind of like a relaxed look coming off of the Dragonfly. So that's Crazy Legs. And let's take a look at G.I. Joe Jane Glenda Mulligan. And I'll take her out of the box. So here's Glenda out of the box. I'm gonna say this right now. That portrait looks a lot better than the portrait that's in the box. And there's Glenda right there. And I'm going to tell you right now, that portrait looks a whole lot better than the portrait that's actually in the box. Artistic style and everything, it was just not something I was really fond of, but that's much better. This is much better. So close up of her harness over here. Again, very tight harness. So we're gonna. I'm really interested in seeing how this thing will articulate. Nice legs over there. And obviously this is supposed to be a reuse of Scarlett's whole body, but it's good enough. I'm not looking at this meticulously to the point where, oh, that's exactly like Scarlett's. It's different enough as far as I'm concerned. There's a gimmick to this one where you can switch out the hair piece. That's pretty easy enough. I really can't tell what the difference is between this one and the other one. That actually looks pretty cool. Now, is this supposed to go on her without the head, or this is the original hair? I see. This one has the hair coming down off the side of the head a little bit. I don't think this is meant to go on when she's got her hair on. Okay. Maybe it's supposed to, because this is really loose. Let's go for this one. And see how this looks. See, that's really tight though. There you go. So yeah, that's definitely meant for a hair piece, because now that's nice and tight. That actually looks pretty dang cool too. I think I'm actually going to display her as it is, like that. You have this backpack over here, which has a really nice detail going on. It's really a shame it's not painted, but you know, you can paint it up if you want to. I'm just going to plug this in here. And where does this go? Don't tell me it connects to the harness. So I can't figure out where this hose goes. I don't see any connection to this harness. This is just a regular gun. No straps. You have these two fisted hands. Oh, there it is. No way. So apparently that's supposed to be some sort of space gun. And that's going to be a problem. I think I'll snake it from the back. Bottom. Yeah. So I think that is probably the least problematic position. Trying to bend her lower articulation. Okay, there you go. That looks cool. I'm not gonna try the harness. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just really tired right now. But yeah, it's got this kind of like a zip tie movement. And I believe you can put this on any other female buck. It is different from the male one. But the articulation wise, I'm sure it's very similar to any kind of G.I. Joe. I'm just going to look at the head. Not much on the head because of her hair in the back. Good size down, a little bit on the left. So everything else basically the same as any G.I. Joes. One thing I wanted to point out, one of the things I learned in the compendium, look at that. I didn't even realize that from before. It's an actual minigun. That is so cool. All right, so that's Glenda Mulligan. Definitely really cool. Oh, by the way, I also wanted to say that, you know, how I usually put on a regular price for these figures to kind of subtract from the main price of the dragonfly. Like for example, the dragonfly is $2.99, but with all these figures, it ends up 25, 25, 25, and 25 being 100. I usually think that the dragonfly is worth $200. And this one, I originally assigned the price of $24 or $25, but I honestly, with all the accessories that she's got, I think this is all close to more of a $29 figure. Not necessarily 34, but there's a good amount of value for this figure. A lot of playability factor, a lot of interchangeability and everything. And this harness over here, this extra harness, which you can put on her if you want to, but the fact of the matter is, I don't even know how you're going to remove this harness. So this is more towards another figure that you can use if you want to. So that's an extra accessory as far as I'm concerned. So now we're going to be taking a look at Ripcord over here. So there's the face. That is really cool. Definitely one of the things I'm loving about G.I. Joe Classifieds is the individualized faces that they have. Not necessarily the best paint application they've done, I think any of these G.I. Joes, they're not the best paint quality out there that Hasbro has done, but there's enough to give each character its own uniqueness, I would say. So while we have them close up, I'm just going to pan really closely with the equipment, and we'll go more in depth to see what's going on. You even have the zippers over here, a holster, and I guess that's a magazine holster or something. And there he is from the back. Oh, look at that. Altitude meter. All right, because he is a parachutist, airborne. Yeah, this is I really do like the bagginess of this suit. And while I have you on close up, we'll just go take a look really quickly at the accessories. That is a really nice gun. I think this is probably removable. Yeah, honestly, I don't even need that to be removable. It's just a potential for it to getting lost, and I'm betting, yep. Yeah, I'm just betting these are guys, it's just potential for being lost for me. So again, very, very nice detail. Very basic in the paint scheme, but I'm okay with this one. It's a small item. It's not so bad. Unlike what happened with the Dragonfly. Look at this guy. You would think it's all black, but then you look at it really close and you'll see a speck of red in there. That's pretty cool. Another set of goggles. This is wide enough that I think does wrap around the helmet. A regular pistol, nothing to scream about. This is quite interesting. So the way it is, this is a separate piece. As you can see, it does have a swivel point here. The helmet itself is nicely detailed. Look at that. This is not, this is actually a separate piece that they had to glue in. See? So it's not like it was molded into the helmet like these guys are. So this, I believe this is the camera, and I'm pretty sure this is probably on a separate unit too. That's amazing. So again, with what we're getting with Ripcord, these guys, I'm beginning to realize with Crazy Legs, Glenda, and Ripcord, I don't think they're your normal $24.95 Joes. Just getting so much. I'm not necessarily saying it's $35 worth, but definitely more than $24.95, I think. It's a snug fit, the helmet, and look at how much it changes the look of this guy. Because you can put the visor down, you can put it up, and now this is interesting because I thought this would go over the helmet. It's snug enough as it is, but this is really tight though. I think the best solution is when this part of the helmet is about to hit that, just lift it above so that it doesn't drag the strap down with it. There. And does this still, yeah, look at that. It still goes down. Yeah, that's amazing. The consideration to design it so that you can still put the goggles and have enough room so that you can put the helmet down. That's a lot of forward thinking, a lot of design consideration for something like that, for that playability factor. And then you just plug in this one to the side. All right, so without the goggles, it does fit. So the goggles was just enough push that, I mean, you can try if you want to, guys. I'm just, that's just not going in. That is, man, I'm telling you guys now, that is freaking cool. I don't know why I feel that that's really cool. It just really is. Man, G.I. Joe, man, I'm telling you, it just knocks it out of the park. Now, you know what? I'll talk about it later on. I love this figure. Honestly, I love all these figures, man. There's still one more guy to talk about, so let me move them out of the way. And for the final figure, we finally have Wild Bill to go with Dragonfly. So just like the other two figures, let's go ahead and take a really close look at that face. That is really cool. I love the fact of how they're switching out these hats. Look at the hat. The hat looks really good. It looks really fit on this head. And the way they did it is that the hat and the hair, it's all molded together. And you just replace it like this. And when you do, it's almost indistinguishable that you have a hairpiece in there. And the cool thing is they did include a separate head, a separate hat, just so he can hold one. Right? That's pretty cool. I mean, can you still, you can kind of still put it in there and have it in that position. So it's like laid back and everything. That's still pretty cool, man. Now these glasses, I'm always afraid of these glasses getting lost. Obviously, they fit really well. Look at that. There's even a groove in the actual hair. Look at that. There's an actual groove in the hair. It's not focusing. there. There's an actual groove in the hair so that when you put on the glasses, it sort of wraps around it. But honestly, I think in order to make sure I don't lose it, just use glue gun, a hot glue gun. It'll dab it. It won't damage the figure and you won't lose it. At least it will have a little bit of protection. Because I think Wild Bill, he needs to have his glasses on, right? That is just awesome. Oh, we have it here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Nice texturing right here on the vest. Then you have this, whatever, this piece over here that goes over the shoulder. This one I'm assuming is something for the knife. Look at his holster. It's actually got a pattern over there that's been painted. This is actually sculpted on the same thing. Wow, Lone Star State, man. It's actually same thing with here. And then you have his insignia over there. Wow. I mean, just wow. And then look at this belt, man. Look at that. Oh, I forgot to close in on these 6-shooters. Same thing. The other one's exactly the same thing. And of course, he's got the knife. And I'll tell you this. I love this figure. I really do. It's exactly what I kind of envisioned in Wild Bill. Will I get a secondary Wild Bill on, because they were already discussing that they're gonna put him on a different color scheme. Will I get it? Probably, but maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like this already fulfills his spot in the lineup. It could be, you know, the other one has more, I don't know, different colors, schemes and everything, but I'm good with this one. And I tell you, I love this figure. I really do. With the accessories he's got, the interchangeability of the hat and the hair, having a secondary hat just for holding and displaying. I love it. But I'm going to tell you right now, out of all these 4 figures, it almost seems like he's the most regular of the bunch. Like all this stuff we would get on a regular G.I. Joe. And that's saying a lot for the entire lineup, because I'm very, very amazed at how much stuff was included in this 4-pack. And I forgot to look at this with Ripcord, but the amount of stuff we get for each individual character is amazing. It just really is mind-blowing. Like, I feel like this is around 29. Maybe they could have asked 34 and I'd be kind of complaining. I feel like 29 is a more good, appropriate size price for this one. Again, with this one, I love how much it changes with the helmet on. The same thing with this one. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe because these 3 figures have helmets and it just completely changes the look, and he only has a hat. Sorry, Wild Bill. But I love this set. I cannot say enough out of it. And so what I wanted to talk about is how I criticize the Dragonfly as being a 95% unpainted plastic. I know that we got a lot of stickers in there to customize it to how we want it to look, but even a slight dab of washing, a slight dab of dry brushing on the intakes and the engines and all that stuff would have helped. To be honest, the biggest source, the biggest slab of paint in the Dragonfly, if you ever get yours, look at the rotor blades, and they're about this big high and they're white. That's the biggest spot of color they applied on Dragonfly. So maybe I'm kind of unfair because I did not slap on the stickers to make it pop out more. And but you know, it's still, it was such a disappointment for me. But I have to say that is considering the price range of $299 for the helicopter. Now that I look at these figures, calculating them to be $25 each, to take off $100 out of the original $299, making the Dragonfly $199. At 199, I guess I'm kind of happy because that's the 199 price range. If you remember, I compared it to the N1 Starfighter, and that's 129 originally. Is it unfair for me to deduct the prices of these figures from the Dragonfly? I don't think so. That's how I kind of compute, because I would have gotten these honestly separate from the Dragonfly. If they had issued these separate from the Dragonfly, I would have gotten this. I feel like the $25 price range for these are a really good price, and you're getting a lot of value for these figures. Honestly, like I said, I would say 29, 29, 25, 29, to be honest. So if I were to calculate that, that actually even reduces the price of the Dragonfly by $15. So the Dragonfly is technically 185 in my mind. So in that case, perhaps I was too hasty. Perhaps I reviewed the Dragonfly on its own merit, with the total price range as completely unfair. And with that in mind, if you actually do watch this video after the Dragonfly, then this would be me backtracking the value that I felt with the Dragonfly as a whole piece. Then I would say that now the value is around 11, compared to the base price of 10. Would I say I would not go down to say the value that I'm receiving from the Dragonfly and its crew would be equal to the price that you're paying, so that what you're getting is worth what you're paying. I feel now, with the figures and the crew included in the set, that the value you're getting is slightly above. The crew is basically what saved that whole item. It really is. For the $299 price range, because these figures are freaking awesome. So I would say that if you were to evaluate the value of the Dragonfly, you should not evaluate it at the $299 price range. It should be evaluated at the $199 and slightly below price line, as far as I'm concerned. But now let's go ahead and close on these figures. I love them. They are unique. The interchangeability, the display options are just freaking awesome. It was fun to be putting these helmets on and changing the entire look of the figure. It really does. And the detail they put in these is just amazing. So that's it for my review of the figures and my backtracking review for the Dragonfly. I'm sorry, developers, if I was a little too harsh on the Dragonfly review on its own, but this is me saying I'm sorry that I did that, and I apologize. But I can see now the value of the Dragonfly as a whole set, including with this crew, to be of a better value than the price that I paid for. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys again soon, and I'll check you later. Bye.